Hello and welcome to another episode here on the Life Signatures Radio. This is a daily show focusing on the subjects of purpose, productivity, and resilience. Three important aspects of life that I do believe that we need if we're going to develop, if we're going to be people who are glorious as we were intended by the Creator. It is a daily show and those are the focus areas. If you're joining and tuning it for the very first time, you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for motivation, looking for teaching, looking for instruction that is going to be a virtual incubator for your development, personal development, this is the show. We are in the middle of a series right about now. We are talking about personal blockades. We've come a mighty long way. We looked at different types of blockades and we're dealing with one blockade which is a self-concept blockade. But before I can go deeper into it, let me just give you a recap so that we can continue. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
And before we can talk about the recap, let me just give you two things. First of all, some people who have been telling me that there's no way we can support you. There's no way we can support you. You've been giving us these messages every single morning, and there's just basically no way we can support you. How do we support you? I've included a link for donation. If you want to donate on the show notes, just click on that particular link, and it's gonna sort you out. And then, if actually it does make a sense to you, makes you to think, makes you to be inspired, makes you to be motivated after listening to the podcast, please do share it with as many people as you can. And there is the recap. First of all, we talked about mental blockades. I don't want to go through it again because it took us like 7 episodes to just talk about a mental blockade. And then we talked about a spiritual blockade. Again, it took us another 5 to 7 episodes to talk about a spiritual blockade. And then we just ended the cultural blockade, which took us another 7 to 5 episodes. And now we are dealing with the self-concept, the blockade of a self-concept. If we have a low estimation of ourselves, it creates a limit. And this limit makes us not to be the best possible version of what we were meant to be in the first place. And that's what a blockade is all about. It is anything that stops us from being the very best that we can become. And the sinister thing with a blockade is that sometimes we don't know it is there. Sometimes we don't know that we are the ones who are stepping on our own way, stopping ourselves from succeeding. We don't know. And this is why we need to explore these blockades all along and combust them, just bring them down one by one. In taking care or in defeating this self-concept blockade, there are several aspects that we need to do. And the first thing that I talked about yesterday is that we've got to make sure that we at least register the fact that it is there. Register the fact that our self-concept, our estimation about ourselves is low and it needs to get some kind of healing. And I did advise that if at all it's possible, get some professional help. these things are insidious. Some of us, we are so gifted, we're so talented, there's just so much going on for us, but we don't know, or we have a low self-concept that we don't even venture, we don't even get out, we don't even try to do things, we don't even try to transform, we don't even try to be ourselves because of that thing. So the first thing we've got to do is to realize that it is helping to engineer our downfall. So we've got to deal with it and accept that it is there, because once we have accepted it, we can be able to deal with it. But the second thing I have already talked about when we were dealing with mental blockades. We talked about this. It's a very powerful thing. Not only does it help with the mind or with the mindset, but it also helps with the psyche, especially with the psyche. What is it? Number 2, it is affirming ourselves. We've been told, by the way, that we are our worst critics. We cancel ourselves a lot. We judge ourselves so hard. We speak against ourselves so hard. And mind you that the things we tell ourselves, they become true. We believe them. We take them hook, line, and sinker, and they become these powerful blockades that prop themselves up. The counter is to affirm ourselves, to speak positively. And I'm going to talk about that at length today. To speak positively about ourselves. Every time I put myself down by speaking negatively, even if it's just a meditation, or sometimes I speak, you hear people talking bad about themselves. I heard Mike Tyson some time back when he was doing his documentary after having made a mess of his life, telling himself that he's a mess, saying he's just a mess. But probably that was something that he was acknowledging and sparked off a very powerful comeback. And I did have a very long episode, a very long series on this podcast, just talking about Mike Tyson 2.0, the new Mike Tyson, how he's brought himself back up and so on. But one of the ways in which we can help to cure our bad self-estimation, our wrong self-concept, is to affirm ourselves. And here's the thing, you will hardly find someone that will affirm you on a daily basis. I know I have that gift of affirming people, and I look at people and I call them, I just speak positively. I speak into their lives, I speak life into them. It's one of my gifts, one of my callings, one of my mandates in life. I do it effortlessly, and I don't I don't do it in such a way that I am just making you feel good. I really mean it, and if whatever I'm saying is not there, I put unction into it and belief into it, so that it's like I'm half prophesying and half affirming. Is that powerful? You might not find people to do that on a daily basis. And if that was happening already, your self-concept will be something that will be very healthy. And that's where you as a parent comes in. You've got to keep doing this to your kids day in and day out. And probably you might be having this self-concept that is high enough, that you perceive to be high enough for your kids, and maybe they don't know, and that's why you come in as a parent to speak into their lives. However, if you have this aspect where people are not speaking into your life, maybe there are no parents who are speaking into your life, there are no teachers who are speaking into your life, there are no mentors who are speaking into your life, don't worry. Don't lose heart. You have you. And you are one of the most powerful. There's a time I did a podcast here talking about the biggest speech ever, the greatest speech ever. And I said that the greatest speech ever is issued when there are no crowds. It is issued to the man in the mirror, to the greatest audience ever, which is you. And you preach to yourself a revival. You have you. You're the man staring back at the mirror. Don't just be silent and look at yourself in the mirror and shake your head, especially when you mess up or when things are not going right and your mouth is shut. You can learn to craft some power words and affirm yourself. It is one of the craziest things ever. It doesn't make sense to your mind because you're speaking against a reality that is there. Reality is staring at you. You're broke or something like that. You have unpaid bills or something like that. But you're speaking positively as if these things, it's like distorting the reality right now. It's like what Steve Jobs, they used to say that Steve Jobs had a reality distortion field where he just ignores the reality and says this is what he is. And he rallies teams around it and they create amazing stuff. These are affirmations, affirming words, positive words, power-packed words that you speak. You craft this. And actually, I need to go and create these words. Sit down and create some time and craft these words down. And have a way that I can be able to speak, affirm myself. What happens when I'm affirming myself? It is going down to my psyche. At the moment, it might not heal. It's just like medicine. When you are sick, they give you a dose of medicine. It doesn't mean that the same time you take the first dosage of medicine, you're going to get right. You're going to get healed. In fact, by the way, we are told that you've got to make sure that you've completed the dosage. You don't just do it on day one. And sometimes, by the way, when you feel good, when you feel like you are amending, your health is amending, you can be like me. Sometimes I stop taking the medication. And it's a dangerous thing. We are told by medics, a dangerous thing to do. Even when you feel like you've come back, your self-worth has come back, your self-concept is back up, it doesn't mean you stop affirming yourself. Because words keep being bombarded to us. Reality keeps sending us feedback. There's this self-talk that keeps going on inside of us, and for the most part, the self-talk is negative. That's why this affirming has got to continue. You cannot just do it once and forget about it. So you can speak some things like, God has said that I will be He will bless me with everything that He has. Bless and bless and bless. Therefore, I am a blessing. I am blessed, and in multiplication, I am multiplied. And I refer it back to scripture. If you are a Bible-believing guy, you can go and look for scriptures that speak positively about you, and you speak them out loud. What are you doing? You are speaking to your self-concept. You are the only one who is serving that self-concept at that moment in time. Because the opposite is that you keep quiet. And when you keep quiet, you're affirming what is at the moment if the self-concept is spoiled. And that is what a blockade gets strengthened. That is how a blockade gets strengthened. So I say to myself, God has said that He will bless me with everything He has. Bless and bless and bless. Therefore, in blessing, I'm blessed. And in multiplication, I'm multiplied. And I just don't say it once. In a session, you say it again and again and again and again. I would even recommend you do it for 3 minutes straight, repeating that particular thing until you feel, there's something that has been created in the spiritual realms. Well, I used to say this some years back. Every day I live a life full of divine energy and vitality, generating a heavy dose of powerful inspiration, impacting this world with a message of hope, greatness and abundance. And I'll keep repeating and repeating and repeating. What am I doing? I'm creating a new self-concept. I'm healing a spoiled self-concept. It looks stupid at the moment when I'm doing it, but it is working like medicine. Medicine works. The trick is to repeat these words over and over and over again daily. Daily, daily, daily. We eat daily, don't you? You don't starve yourself, you eat daily. So consistency is the key. These power words will form a new self-concept in your subconscious. And even a long way, it will go in a very long way in obliterating some of the self-concept blockades that might be working against us and we don't know. So, in case you're suffering self-concept, and in case there is a blockade in that you don't believe in yourself, you don't feel like you belong, you don't feel like you measure up, you don't feel like you deserve, the self-concept is spoiled, and in there is a blockade. So you can heal it, like we said yesterday. Number one, look for some professionals to help you who are in the mental working space, maybe psychiatrists or psychologists, whatever it is, mentors and counselors, those professionals. But then the second thing we're saying today, affirm yourself. Find some time to affirm yourself. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about this blockade and how we can deal with it. But until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.